Hi, everyone, and welcome. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro along with the Hall of Famer Brian Westbrook. It's Self Scout presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. And we're talking about the Eagles offense on Sunday coming alive and beating the New York Giants. And Brian, they did it the way that you've kind of been talking about for the last few weeks. Get to the run game and stick with it. Josh Adams and Corey Clement had big games.
Yeah, I think they finally found some confidence in Josh Adams. He's been doing a pretty good job the last couple of weeks, 9 carries before this week was his season high. And he's the type of guy, one cut, get downhill. He can accelerate and get to the edge. He did a great job yesterday. I'm proud of him as a young player getting 22 carries. I'm also proud of Doug sticking with the run, getting some push up front with the offensive line. It's a vast difference in the game plan. When you get that running attack going, opens up a lot of different things offensively.
So here we want to talk about some of the good things that happened with the Eagles offense and some of the things that still need to be improved. And that begins with getting out of the gates more quickly. The Eagles again shut out in the first quarter, their 9th goose egg in 11 first quarters this season. So, I mean, let's just talk about it briefly because I think it's kind of the same story. What do you do to get it going?
You know, I think you want to start faster. Everybody says that, but what do you have to do to start faster? You want to start with some confidence-building throws for your quarterback early on. Get him second and short, third and short, and that means you got to get some passes that you can complete early on in some possessions just to try to build some confidence. But, you know, listen, you do have an offensive line that's big and physical and nasty. Why not start early running the football? Why not get downhill, put these big guys, Jason Peters, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, downhill, allow them to dominate a defensive line. Start that a little bit earlier. If I'm Doug Peterson, of course, you want to get Carson Wentz's hands wet early on in the game, get the ball in his hands. But I'm going to lean on the big guys in the trenches to begin the game and then allow Carson to feed himself.
Well, I'm going to counter that, and I'm going to say that the Eagles did try to get the run game going. They had the Josh Adams big touchdown run wiped out by the holding call on Jason Kelce. And the self-inflicted wounds really kept this offense at bay. The pass interference, offensive pass interference on Alshon Jeffrey. The false start, Brandon Brooks in the red zone, took the Eagles from a short yardage situation to a long yardage situation. These kinds of things, Brian, must be cleaned up as the Eagles get back into this race with Washington coming to town. The NFC East is right there for the Eagles. They got to clean it up.
They do have to clean it up. I mean, when you looked at last year, of course you were getting some more explosive plays, things like that. But if you're not getting those plays, you have to play clean football. This Eagle team is talented enough. They're good enough to play clean football. And if they want to win, we're at the point in the season, if you want to win, you have to play penalty-free, mistake-free. The margin for error is so small for this football team. They need to clean it up, and I think it starts this week.
But it certainly is encouraging that the run game got going and that Josh Adams, 22 carries, as you said, the rookie, undrafted, and in the heat, well, the heat of the winter here as we get closer to it, in the playoff race, they're turning to Josh Adams, and he's delivering.
What you saw yesterday was a young man getting more and more confidence every single carry. He has the ability to bounce it outside, but at first he starts inside, you know, conservative runs, and then as he got more confident, he began running more aggressively, using his vision a little bit more. Then he's able to explode a big-time run. I think the touchdown run that he got called back gave him more confidence up top, especially early in the football game. And when a coach sees that, even though they get the run call back, when the head coach, the play caller, sees that, he's saying, okay, maybe this is a game where we can feed the young rookie a little bit more, and Doug Peterson did a great job doing that.
And also a shout-out to Corey Clement, who had 45 rushing yards, 31 yards in the receiving game, including the screen. He had a big run that set up a field goal, Brian, kind of got the offense out of its early doldrums. And then the screen game came alive for the really rare time this year.
Well, you need the screen game, and I think Corey went back to the old part of the game that he was in last year. You know, last year you had LeGarrette Blount, you have Darren Sproles with the injury, but they also had Jay Ajayi that consumed a lot of the carries. Corey came in and played a spot, third down type of back, get him involved in the screen game. Yesterday he went back to that role, and I think it paid dividends when you see some of the runs. He looked faster, which to me means he's a little bit more healthy. He had the ability to explode down the field. He caught the ball well and made big plays in the screen game. That certainly helped the run game and this offense, as you talk about efficiency down the field.
It's become normal to look at Zach Ertz's line and kind of shrug and go, oh, 7 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. It's the way he's played all season. Another red zone touchdown, big plays, catch and runs. Zach Ertz is putting up numbers that are historic among the history of NFL tight ends. Brian, what makes him so good?
I went back and I purposely watched Zach Ertz this morning. Just how is he getting open? And he's done a little bit better job of getting yards after catch, but he's one of the best tight ends in the league of being shifty, finding the hole in the zone. Of course, he catches the ball, great hands, but he finds the hole in the zone. He does a great job of using his leverage on man-to-man situations. And Landon Collins played him a lot yesterday. A very good safety that the Giants have, young safety, but he uses his body perfectly. Carson Wentz put the ball in the right place. This is just something that continues to get better every single game. Zach Ertz in the conversation for the best tight ends in the game.
Yeah, for sure. And the offensive line really stepped up on Sunday.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz completing 71% of his passes, no interceptions, 1 touchdown. Late game drive to set up Jake Elliott for the field goal as 4th comeback drive or game-winning drive in the 4th quarter in his career, Brian. And I know everybody wants to know about Carson and where he is and what kind of progress he's making. Step back in New Orleans, 2 steps forward perhaps against the Giants.
I think the biggest play for Carson, and he had a lot of good throws this week, was the 4th down play. I mean, he had a lot going on, different defenses. He has some crossers in front of him, has to read the crossers. Then he finds Nelly right behind the crossers. This is him sitting in the pocket, going through his progression, not panicking, and delivering the ball accurately. That's something that our young quarterback, still a young man, still has to continue to get better at. Yesterday, he took a big step.
And hopefully this is the spark that everybody's been waiting for, an offense that has been meandering around 22 points a game, scores 25 in a must-win game, and the Eagles alive in the NFC East with Washington coming to town on Monday night. That is our Self-Scout presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. Brian Westbrook, the Hall of Famer, Dave Spadaro, the Insider, we thank you for joining us.